I love you even when you're struggling. Throughout the entire 3 days of the coaching event that I went to, that I mentioned in one of my last videos, something from the first day. I actually don't remember a lot of the second day, but I know I had times, honestly, there were times where in every day where I connected really deeply, and I was in tears at different points. But I went into it with the full intention of connecting with that youngest part of myself that I talked about in one of my recent videos about the part, young, possibly toddler part of me that were just the seeds of feeling like failure and alone and those things from the auto writing. And I took that into the coaching event I went to just a few days later at the end of that week. And I had the intention of having him in mind during any deep things. And that really made a massive difference for me during the entire retreat. And it still would have been a good event and a meaningful event anyway, but it's like those things were meant to be together almost. Because that was the biggest thing for me, was the connection with that young self. And no, I'll tell you real quick, before I get into the other thing, because it's fun. On the second day, I do know that we're kind of just visualizing our future self and our supportive or self. And I was standing there in front of myself, calm and everything. But then at one point, and there's 150 people in the room, doing the same thing. And then I suddenly, the person that was myself, my future self that I was envisioning, started going, just making faces at me, and I couldn't help but to giggle out loud. And it happened a few times, and a little part of me was just like, oh, should I not be doing this? I'm like bothering people. I'm like, no, they'll understand. It's not gonna be a long, huge, uncontrolled set of giggling. But it was just like, I'm still a wise ass. It's great. And he also, at the very end of that, he also tickled me too, and I was like, ah. I think in one of the times, I also realized during some of these things that, you know what, I'll save it for another time. Well, real quick, a lot of times I'm talking with some of the communities I'm in about feeling energy, our core energy, and I'm like, I don't feel anything, I just feel like me. But I did realize some of these things during some of the integrations, by the end of it, I would be like, my shoulders would want me to move, and I'd be wanting to move a lot. And I realized, hey, maybe that's just one of the ways I feel my energy, my own energy, is just because I start wanting to move. So it's interesting. But side note, over into, I do wish I had written down notes at the end of the day, because some of the things that I experienced, I know that I experienced them, I know which days, but I can't remember what they were anymore. But that's okay, because I still had the experience for myself. That's the important thing. And I am going way off track. Over onto the main point. On the last day, at the very end of the day, there was another integration. And again, details of the approach I won't share, because that's not my techniques, but my own experience of what I had internally is stuff that I can talk about. But at one point of it, we were going over and visualizing some emotional things, and I had some emotions come up a little bit, but then after a while they kind of faded, and I was well aware of that, going, I'm not feeling anything anymore. I'm like, but that's okay, just keep going. And there was at one point where he told us, hey, say some of these positive things. What do you love about yourself? What are you proud of? This and that. Start saying these things out loud. Just our own things, not repeating after him. And got to that point, and I still wasn't having any strong emotional feelings in me that I can tell. But I also knew that there was things that I could say. But then I was trying to think of something, and I was just coming up blank. A lot like when I'm in the improv sometimes. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. But I'm gonna give myself some time. And also with all the noise and everybody else talking around me, I think that also, it's just a lot of input that I'm having to filter out or try to filter out. So that probably made a difference. But that was going for a bit. And I'm still getting nothing. And after a while, I could feel some little bit of tension coming up inside of me, feeling like, oh, well, but I'm not getting anything. Am I failing at this? And a little bit of worry, not strong, but I told that part, it's okay, It's like we give our time, give time. Don't need to rush, and even if we can't think of something, it's okay. Still nothing. And then I decided, maybe I'll just try to talk. Even if I have no words, I'll try to talk and just see what comes out. But all that came out was literally just, and that's all I could get because I had no words to form with my mouth. So I couldn't get anything, and I started stuttering. And, pardon, got an itch on my eyebrow. There we go. I started stuttering, and all I could make was just half a syllable. And I could feel a little bit more of that tension going, I can't get anything out. It's like the point of this is to try to get these things out and really wanting to do a good job and for myself. But then after a while, with that little bit of tension in there, I realized that tension needed some attention. And I started telling him, I was like, well, in my head, that I still, oh, now I'm losing my words again. That even when I'm having those hard times, even when I'm having those hard times of finding my words, that I still love you. And again, I'm also thinking about that very young part of me too, during all of this. I was like, because I know that even though I'm not finding the words in the moment, I knew that there's plenty of things that I could say. I knew it wasn't because of lack of having things that I could say that I loved about myself or proud of myself. I just I couldn't connect the stuff in the moment. And I started over and over telling myself that, but in a really, really deep way. I mean, I was in tears. I started crying and just telling myself, I know. And then I managed to get some words out, but it was very, very quiet and still stuttering through it. But I was just telling myself, but I love you for what you're trying to do. I love you for all of the things that we've been doing all these past years, and really trying your best to work through things. And even when you have times when your words aren't flowing, but I know what's in my heart and what I'm trying to do, and my intention, and I'm proud of myself for everything, and even during these moments, even especially in these moments, because I know what's there, and it means a lot to me, and everything like that. I was just trying to give that to myself. And then the exercise carried on. He started having us repeat some stuff from him. But even in between the things we're repeating from him, I would stop and then go back and repeat some of those other things to myself. So I was mixing them together. And at the end of that section, we do actually energizing sessions once in a while where it just people get up and they kind of go to some music and a little dancey type stuff. But that experience had taken out so much energy from my body. I was like, I could barely move. And then went to something where you need the legs more. And I almost fell all the way down because I had so little energy. The woman behind me, she got concerned and she's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. But it was affecting me for several hours afterwards. I was talking really quiet because when I get in that really deep space, that's the best I can do. And talking with someone else later who was concerned, and I was just telling her, I'm like, this isn't a bad thing. It just took a lot out of me, but in a good way. that was like the most meaningful thing, for me. Just that connection, really deep connection with my youngest self, and sharing that with him. But yeah, I think that's good. That's good. It meant a lot to me. And I'm going to move on with my day. I just wanted to share. So take care. See ya.